Pink Poodle Crafts, join the Poodle Pack. It's time to get creative and make you laugh. Make your own art today. Pink Poodle Crafts is the way.
What a good boy.
Hey crafty family, it's me. And today we are finally going to play with some resin with my light, my UV light and some UV resin. I had ordered some, and I guess on the same day Karen was sweet enough to order me some as well. I thought they were different brands, but actually they're not. They're the exact same resin, just in different boxes. I don't know, but they both have the same stuff. The ingredients are listed on it and they're exactly the same. So they're not any different. And since this bottle's bigger and this one's, the one that she sent me was nice and little, which I like this size bottle, I'm just going to play with this one because I know it's the same as that one. I've already looked it up. So this is UV resin. You can get it in larger bits or you can get it in smaller bottles like this, which is a little easier to handle. And this one might be good for using as a refill for this bottle. So I want to play with this. And we're going to just do a few things just so I can show you how it works. We played with the gel nail polish, which is basically the same stuff, and got some really nice results on some embellishments that are real shiny and sparkly. Put some, you know, glitter in it and everything. And here's this one here, which is amazing. And I'm going to finish this necklace off. And then I started this one as well, which yes, it's a naked lady. I just thought it was really cute. And I haven't put the veils on it yet or anything. We did a skeleton leaf, and this was all with just gel nail polish. Did this one the first day I was playing with it and stuff like that. I made these shrink ink charms, and then I put the resin over top, so now they're nice and shiny. You can do all kinds of things with paper. These are mixed media mashup, and I cut them into tiles and put resin on them. So you can do all kinds of fun things. And now that I have the actual like resin, I can do some molds. Now the thing that I've been doing a lot of research on this, the thing with the UV resin is because it needs the light to cure it, you don't want to use really deep molds. Like I probably wouldn't use this one because as you can see it's quite deep, but this one should be fine. This one's kind of shallow. That should be fine. These butterflies should be okay. And we'll just try some and see what happens. But a lot of these little ones here should be okay. And we're going to just try it and see. And then, and I also did research and found that your LED light bulbs can also cure this. I don't know how much it'll cure from being all the way up here because I have LED light bulbs all over. So you got to be careful of that if you're mixing colors and stuff. You don't want to put it directly under your lights. But I think to get the most curing, you need a machine. So we're going to start out by doing a little mold here. And just to see if these molds work, I'm not even going to bother mixing colors into it. I'm just going to put a little resin in and see if it works. And we'll see what happens. I just want to see if these molds will give me a result because of the fact that, let me see if this is open or if it needs to be. I knew it. I need my tool. I need me a tool. I can't get the top off. Okay, it's being very difficult. Don't be difficult. Come on now. I haven't got the strength for this in my hands anymore. Wow, this is like sewn on here or something. Okay then, we're going to poke a hole and pop at it, see what we get. Try to get this popped off here because that's quite annoying. I can't seem to get that off. Oh, good Lord. I'm gripping this with all my might. I still can't get it off. Goodness. Okay, so unlike the nail polish, the gel polish, this does have a scent to it. It's not over strong or it's not like super strong, but it does have a scent to it, just so you know. But I mean, and I do need to, these molds are not the cleanest. They have remnants of clay in them, so I may not get like, I may get a couple of little spots of clay, white spots, but that's all right. And I want to make some molds of my own at some point, so I'm going to get some, I'm going to get myself some silicone mold maker at some point, because I really would like to make some molds of some things. All right, let's try. We're just going to try one for the time being. Just for poops and gigs. Let me get a toothpick here. I'll get a couple of them out. All right, let's see how that works. We're going to leave that in there for a few minutes because unlike putting thin applications on with a mold, we need to leave it a few seconds and let it kind of, or a little bit longer, I mean, than a few seconds, and let it do its thing. Let's also try and do an embellishment. Let me grab one, or at least one of my tiles. Yeah, I guess this stuff does smell more than the the gel nail polish did. Let's do a couple of these little things here. Let's see what happens. And this time we will brush it on, although this one is not glued down very well. I'll probably have to put a spot of glue on there. Just a spot. What do I do with my glue? That might be helpful if I found it. It might be. What did I do with it? Did I put it all down here? Oh, I guess I did. I move things around, so of course that comes with me having to get used to the fact that I move things around. So things aren't in their places that I'm used to having them in, because I was trying to reorganize, and I did a lot of reorganizing of things, and yeah, we'll see how that works out in the long run. Okay, so I have those little brushes that we got at the Creative, a reuse, so I'm going to grab me one of those, and I'm going to try brushing it on like I did the nail polish. I'm just going to put a little bit down here. Let's see how that does. And then I'm going to apply it just like I did the nail polish. Or the gel polish top coat stuff that I was using the first time I did it in the other video, which you can find on my channel, where I showed you that you can use gel nail polish. Although this is definitely more cost effective to just get the resin and do it with the resin. Because the gel nail polish is quite expensive to get a gel top coat nail polish. It's definitely easier just to buy this, the actual resin, which is much better cost-wise. Okay, it adhered to my skin. We don't want that. Keep in mind that it will cure if you leave it sitting out. I'm going to turn this a little bit because I don't want to be looking into that light. It will cure just by sitting under these lights a little bit, so I am trying not to do that. And that one started to buckle a little bit. I think this gets harder. It's still sticky. I think this resin gets a little harder than the gel nail polish. I'm curious to see the difference. I don't know how our mold is doing, but I'm going to check on it. Hey, look at that. Although it had an air bubble in it, apparently. It's still sticky on top, and it had an air bubble in it, which doesn't help. I should have let it not have an air bubble. I'm going to try to fill it again, and this time, I don't know why it gave me an air bubble. I have those stupid dogs out there. Somebody has dogs, and they like howl till the cows come home, and they're so loud, and there's a bunch of them, and they just like to, they just make a lot of damn noise. It gets my dogs going. Let's see, maybe I need to, let me grab something real quick. Hold on. Quiet, girls. Usually you'll get better results if you heat it a little bit before you put it in. Now this stuff cracks. It doesn't dry as flexible as the, that's what I was testing. That's why I was bending it. This stuff dries much harder than the gel polish, so it will crack. Just an FYI. I'm glad I figured that out. So if you want a flexible, if you want it to be flexible when you're done with it, you may want to use the gel nail polish. However, you can't really buy that in bulk, and it's not the most cost-effective thing on the planet. Okay, let's try making another bezel. I need some glue. I'll just use the glue that I had out 2 seconds ago. And you just want to make sure it's covered well with glue so that none of the resin gets under. Oh well, this is what's going to happen today. Okay. That's enough. That's enough. Tigger, stop. And welcome to my house. Because I'm doing this in the morning instead of at night. Quiet, Tigger. Girls, that's enough. Stop. This is what happens when you try to do things in the morning. Stop, girls. I hear my neighbor outside. Anyway, so I'm going to let that dry. It might even dry better if I stick it in there. While that's drying, I've got this bezel here, which the little thing, I don't know, I think I broke that off on purpose, but I don't remember. It's quite possible that I did break it off on purpose. Let's see if I can get the rest of it off. You know, the little bail that's on top that makes it so that I might have broken off for a reason and then didn't use it, which I believe is the case. Because it looks like I cut it, and that is something I would have done. So then we have this, and what I was thinking of for this little guy right here was to put like a glitter background or something. I know how we'll do this. We will mix a little pigment. Sure, let's do purple. I'm going to take a little of this, which all it is just mica powder. I'm going to mix it with this. Which then it's going to make it look really cool. And then I'm going to get it into this thing here. Just as like the first layer. I'm going to cure it like that. Can you see how cool it looks? Oh yeah. It's like purple swirlies. And I'm going to throw that away. And I'm going to take a baby wipe and clean that up. Stupidly left my glue open. Okay. I'm going to let that cure. Let me check on other things in here. Why did that do that? It still did like a whole thing in there. weird things. I'm not sure these molds are the best molds for that. All right, so these two are complete. That's the best that's going to happen with them. That needs to go further in. But now it's nice and shiny. It's got a nice shiny finish on it. Very nice, very nice. And then for my little lady here, I'm going to pour in, how do I want to do this? Yeah, I'm just going to pour in resin on her. Do I want any glitter though? Just like a little bit? I might want just a tad. But like a thinner glitter, or not, something that's not as thick. Let me see if I have a thin glitter over here somewhere. I know I do. Get to it. When I say thin glitter, I mean like a fine glitter is what that's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm talking about. Let's see. Try to find it. Here we go. A nice fine glitter. Just going to use a little bit of that. I'm going to put a little bit in. I'm going to take the toothpick and spread it out. It's not completely filled yet. I'll fill it a second time after I'm done. But I'm going to sprinkle a tad of glitter. I'm even going to put it in my hand first because I don't want a whole lot. Just want a little. I'm just kind of moving it around if it's in a place that I don't want it. I will now put that in there as well to cure it on there. Okay. So we're going to cure that. Come on, dude. Give me one. Okay. A little bit of glitter. All right. Let's test our other thing out here. Other pendant. Is this cured yet? Don't think so. I think it needs a little more time. Okay. Interesting, isn't it? This is a lot of fun to play with. Oh yeah, and I have this. Somebody had made this for me and sent it to me. They had put like a glossy accents over it. Not like a thick coating. Or maybe it's like a glossy Mod Podge, I think. So I'm going to try putting this over that so that I can see how it works on that. Again, I'll probably have to put it in over top of that so it sits straight. But for now, let's see how this works. Yeah, this stuff, the resin is thicker than the gel polish, that's for sure. You want to spread it to all the edges. It's kind of like when you use regular resin, if you've ever used like 2-part resin. Which I have quite a lot of experience with 2-part resin. take my lighter, whatever I did with that. What did I do with it? That's weird. Oh, there it is. And heat it. This will help get the bubbles out. And then we'll open our tray and slide it in. Okay. We're just going to give that a minute and then we'll check on it and see how it is. But this is a lot of fun. I advise you to give it a try. The brand of resin that this is called, well, it has two different names, but from what I've gathered, it's the exact same. It says Decor Rom or Limino. I think this is the same as this, except this is like Japanese version and this is this version or something. I don't know. Don't know. But you can find them on Amazon. I'll put the link in the description below. And this way you can get yourself some. And I'll even try to find a link where you can get some jewelry bezels, you know, to make the little pendants like we've done, like these things. Because you can get them in all kinds of sizes and shapes and colors and everything. So I'll put a link to that below so that you can get it and play with it. And if you're going to do molds, I would stick to transparent or clear molds, like the silicone molds that are clear. These are better for clay. So that's why they're not working as well. And I had a feeling they might not. So what's happening is the UV light is not getting to the bottom. And that's why the clear ones work better. It'll actually get to the bottom. It'll get to the bottom of it. So the garbage man is here now. So now we're going to hear even more lovely barking in a second. So fun. But also while that's going, tonight I'm going to be doing mixed media mashup at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. I think it'll be at 8 o'clock. Hopefully at 8 o'clock. So it's a live stream that I do every week. So subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification so you get notifications. And check back on my channel about 8 p.m. because we do a mixed media mashup, which is where I pull cards that have different prompts on them. And then we follow the prompt and there's a giveaway. And so if you follow along with us and work with us, you'll be entered in the giveaway, which I do the drawing for and all that good stuff. So there's that. And then I'll be doing a live stream after that, because usually we do mixed media mashup as a separate live stream, and then I'll make a new live stream and we'll hang out and do some other fun crafts. So what I'll do is, oh, I just realized I had a transparent mold right here, this little poodle. I'll have to try it. But what I'm going to do is try it. Excuse you. Try it and then show the results, because this has got to sit for a while. I'll show the results during the live stream tonight, the after live stream that we're going to do. And that'll be around 10, 11 o'clock. It's usually a late night live stream. But I do live stream several times a week. I do Wednesdays live stream, and then most of my live streams are through my Patreon. So you'd have to go and check out the link to my Patreon where you can get all my live streams, and we all hang out, and we do fun things, and we have crafts, we have snacks, and we craft with all kinds of stuff. But I'll be doing more resin stuff tonight, so it might be worth it to hang out late tonight, because we're going to do some more embellishments and play with this stuff. I'm going to see if I have a clean cup, clean enough, because I'm going to mix a color with that real quick, and maybe I'll make a let's see, do I have enough pink? Maybe I'll make a pink poodle if I have enough pink in here. I need to take the bottom off of this, but I haven't yet. should work. Okay. I need like a spatula. Where's my little one at? There it is. We're going to mix up some resin with color. Try that first. And since I have to mix it in a cup, since this is a bigger thing, I'm sure I need more. I don't see that filling this whole thing. That should fill it, and maybe something else as well. I don't know. Let's see how this does. I mixed like the perfect amount for this thing. That was some good eyeballing, I tell you what. I could take my brush, where is it, and brush this on to these and see what happens, this little bit that's left, and just brush it onto this as like a little sparkly layer. Now this is the hard resin. You can get this in a not as hard. This is like a super like hard coat resin. And I'm assuming that the non-hard one would be, I mean, they're all hard, but it, you know, the not as hard as this one, you know, the other one that there is would probably be good for, potentially like it would probably be similar to the nail polish. You know what I mean? Like that's a little more flexible. So if you want to do embellishments like this, where you're filling a mold, obviously you want it to be a hard resin so that it doesn't, you know, so you can use it as an embellishment or a charm or something. But if you want it to be like to coat an embellishment, like a paper embellishment or a die cut, you might want the less harder one, which I don't know what it would be called, but this one, I know they have different like hardnesses. I don't know how to say that. They have different hardness. At least from what I gathered watching some videos. And I got my stuff in there. I'm dropping this onto my desk to hopefully get some air bubbles to the top. All right, so I'm going to put that in. I could tell it's starting to harden on the outside from the lights. That's nice. That one's still going. That one's done. This one lifted up. Wow. Interesting. I guess the adhesive I had on there was not dry, and what ended up happening was, yeah, it's still wet underneath. That was dumb. I should have let it dry. I could stick it in there after yeah, the adhesive, you got to make sure the adhesive is really dry first. Once it's dry, I could stick it back in, hopefully, but even if not, it's kind of cool like that. But anyway, it hardened, but the problem is the adhesive was wet, as you could see. It's still wet because it would dry clear if it was not wet. I can wipe it right out of there. So you want to make sure your adhesives are dry because they need to be stuck really well. So that was my fault, but good to know, good to know. I mean, I had a feeling because I thought it might be dry, but I thought, okay, maybe it's not. And I know for a fact that you can't do that with like 2-part resin either because it'll do the same thing. But this turned out like perfect. Not even a single air bubble on it. Came out beautiful. And that's like hard. Yeah, it's different than the gel polish a little bit. Thicker and harder. So that's interesting. So this one I wanted to put another layer on. And I was going to put some gears in it. I got these little gears. So I was going to like take a gear or two. And put them in, because this stuff will act as a glue as well. So I'm going to spread this out, and then I'm going to stick my things in it. Yeah, I'm going to look and see about the hardnesses because I want, if they do have a more flexible one, I'd like that for like my paper embellishments and stuff, because I really do like how the gel polish works for that better than this specifically, because I like that little bit of flexibility. So I'm definitely going to look on Amazon and see if they have a different hardness than just this like super hard one, because I want the gears to be like sticking out a little bit. I don't want them to be perfectly flush. Don't I have a thing with gears in it somewhere? What did I do with that? Did I stick them somewhere? Dang it, I don't know what I did with those. Now that I moved everything around, I had my other gears around here somewhere, and I stuck them somewhere, and I don't know for the life of me what I did with them. We'll stick that one right down in the middle. And I have a, whoa, and I didn't want to drop that, but I did. Fabulous. There it is. I have a little hand. I really wish I had my other gears, because I would rather have them than this. Just making a little abstract that I can turn it into a magnet, whatever. I mean, it would be a pendant if it had the thing, but it doesn't. And I'm trying to find things to... I don't have all my stuff out that I would normally typically use for stuff like this. So I'm just kind of winging it and seeing what happens. Trying to find little doodads to put in it as well. I wish I had my little gears, which I don't know where they are. They might be in here. I have a thing that has like miniature gears, you know, like real clock gears. Is this them? No. Why? Oh, here they are. And then I can fill in some spaces with these little tiny, tiny gears. Tinsatani. Got to kind of dump these out and to get a good look at them. And you just take little bits, like little watch piece bits. It'll come out really cool. I used to do this all the time, and I used to make really cool little jewelry pieces with resin, but I would use resin, and it would take forever because I would have to do it in layers, like in stages, and it was a pain in the ass, to say the least. I would have to use tweezers. So this will be interesting to see. How this comes out. A hair. Nice. I knew something was in there. It looked weird. Any more? Let me look at it from an angle a little bit. Okay, run the torch on it. This will be interesting. Let's see if I can get it in there. I can, but let's see. Okay, this one's hard now. I just put a little bit of that color with the mica in it, or resin with the mica in it. All right, this one came out really good. It's perfect. Let's see how our poodle is. The bottom is still and what I'll do is, if the top is hard enough, which I think it might be, I can flip it over and hope that the top of it will cure through the thing, through the bottom, since it's transparent. I'll be playing with these tonight as well. These are like little, you cut them out, they're on transparency, and you can layer some resin in and then put one of these in, and like I'll do it maybe on this, but you'll see how it shows up really cool on the black, and it'll look like it's, because I'll put resin in and then I'll put this in and then I'll put more resin in, and it'll look like it's kind of floating in there. And we'll see how that works out. Let's see, did that cure anymore? Looks pretty good. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. The back side's nicer, I think. Look at that. It made a cute little pink poodle. That is so cool. I'll stick it in there just to further make sure it's cured all the way to the center. Now that the mold is off of it. My goodness, this is so fun. I want to make a bunch of these poodles. But see, that's the kind you need, is this transparent. That's why that worked, and that's why this one did not work so well, which is why, like, oh, I didn't show you those. You see, like, these got like a gap in them. You can't really see it, but there's like a gap. It's not right. It didn't cure properly. There's like literally a hole in it right here. You can see like there's like a hole right here, and it happened twice, so it just didn't cure properly. I'm thinking that maybe if I did it really thinly, I could try it, like, don't fill the whole mold and just do it like super thin and try and see what happens. We can try that. Just enough to kind of get a coat. And I mean, it's hard resin, so it's not going to be like brittle. But yeah, I'll have to get myself some transparent molds. I don't really have any, because like I said, I mostly did 2-part regular epoxy resin type of stuff and not the UV resin. I've always wanted to do the UV resin, but that might even be too thick, but we'll try it. That's what I used to do all the time. Slam it down, helps bring the air bubbles up. Okay, let's hope for the best. But I am going to get off of here now. We could check on our little thing here. I'm not sure it's completely cured yet, but I highly doubt it. Maybe. Oh, maybe it is. Yeah, seems like it is. So that's what it looks like. And so I can put a bail on it and turn it into a pendant. I can use the little hole that's in the top here, whoops, right there, and turn it into a pendant. Focus. This camera has the worst focus on it on the planet. Or I could stick a magnet on the back of it. It won't focus anyway. It's a cute little steampunk piece. I'm gonna leave in there a little longer just to be sure. We can check the butterfly, see how it's coming along. That actually worked. Let me put it in there just to get that back side, make sure it's perfectly sealed, but that didn't take long at all for that one. It doesn't say. UV light for 2 to 4 minutes. If you're going to use the sun, it needs 5 to 20 minutes. This stuff seals pretty quick. It's still sticky on that back side a little bit, so it's got to cure. So as long as you do a super thin, I'm going to try this one again that I was having trouble with, and not do the whole thing. And just do the inner part. Yeah, you can't like probably, or you can layer it. I didn't think of that. Put a little bit in and then do it. Put a little bit in. I'll have to try that. So I'll do this first layer, and I'll even throw some glitter on top of it. So it can be like glitter-tastic. You got to be careful because glitter might, I don't know if it would prevent it from curing if there's a lot of it. Since this, I mean, I don't think it will for transparent things, but I don't know about the, what do you call it? These colored molds. But I put it in pretty thin, so I'll just layer it. I didn't even think of that. See how that works. Yeah, this seems done. The only thing about it is this side here could use like a little bit of, like here, I can even take this, try and see if the polish, if I can use the polish to kind of, because like right in the center where it was hitting the mold, it's a little dull, which can happen. So just to clear it up a little bit so it's not so, because sometimes your molds will make your thing cloudy, so you'll need to use the resin, or in my case I'm using the polish to kind of polish the outside of it. There we go. Put that in. That'll give it a nice shiny. So that's a good reason to keep this around, just to polish the outside. So yeah, I'm going to look into getting a not as hard, because this is considered the hard coat kind. See if they have one that's not, and so is the other one that I got too. It's called hard type. It says right on it, hard type. See if they have one that's a little bit more flexible that I can use in the nail polish bottles, just like I was doing with this, without having to spend an arm and a leg on that. Let's see how that works out. Let's see. Oh yeah, that worked, didn't it? But I shouldn't have taken it out of there, because there we go. Because now I'm going to add another layer on top of the resin and let it dry. Because you can layer just like you can with 2-part resin, which is something I was wondering until I watched some videos. So yeah, you can use these kind of molds as long as you do layers. Do a thin layer, a thin layer, a thin layer, or whatever. And apparently one of the videos I watched, the girl added like black pigment into it, and if it, you know, and it didn't cure in a deeper mold at all because the black wasn't letting any of the UV light in. So you definitely want to do really thin layers if you do black for some reason. Okay, and there's our butterfly, nice and crystal clear and beautiful. It looks like glass. You can use it like that, or obviously you can paint it. You can probably paint it with alcohol ink. And then our piece, this is completely done now. And this is amazing. I love this. This is so cool. That's so cool. We'll give that just a few seconds. I got the hiccups. But I really love this little poodle. It is so cute. I should make some of these. Oh, it stands up. How cute. Oh my goodness. Does that stand up? No. See, now this little lady, unfortunately, I think it is too bubbled at this point because what happens is when you're doing this this is why I want to get the kind that's not as hard as this, because when you're doing it on paper, it'll warp your paper a bit. So, and the other stuff wasn't doing that, the gel nail polish. So if I get a flexible kind instead of the really hard kind, I'll be able to use it on my embellishments, which is what I want. So I'm going to look for that. But this is still cute as an embellishment on its own on something. It's just not perfectly flat. It's not too bad, but it's not perfectly flat. So very interesting. Let's see how this is doing. Look at that. There we go. Now we know what we're doing. At least I think that's... Oh, it might not have cured all the way. I don't know. Let's see. Let me put it in here. Maybe it didn't cure all the way because there's still some wet what's it in there. Let me let that cure so I can pick it out easily. Anyway, you got to experiment and play around. We're going to do more experimenting later tonight. So, yeah. So hopefully I will see you guys then. In the meantime, make sure you do what you love and love what you do and be nice to people. And I will talk to you later.